my friends. It's your boy Cranberry Enthusiast. Yeah, it's your boy Cranberry Enthusiast coming at you, not live, but pre-recorded in the month of February, the year of our Lord 2025. Now, I used to always say February, but ever since I realized, oh, there's an R, I often pronounce it February. I don't even know what is right. Definitely feel free to comment down below. What is the correct pronunciation of February? What is the one? Which, the funny thing is, I suppose it doesn't really matter all that much because people are gonna know what you say, with that word at least. And hi everybody, I hope you're doing absolutely fabulous. Welcome to another video where I just turn on the camera and ramble about some topic or other. Today, I've been thinking about how expensive everything is. Have you noticed that? I feel like it's pretty likely for you to have some indication of that, because if you're watching this video, most likely you've bought something or other within the past 6 months. And especially, if you're paying different bills, if you're paying for car insurance, health insurance, gasoline, food, activities, really expensive models of the International Space Station, whatever you fancy. Yeah, things are expensive, and it's also not a very nice feeling when you are, when suddenly prices rise, or you're hit out in the middle of, out of nowhere with like a bill or some type of thing where it's like, okay, this is not what I was told would happen here. And yeah, it's definitely a weird thing. Now, I feel very blessed in that I'm getting a better handle on grasping finances in general, because in all honesty, finances shouldn't be something to freak out about. And unfortunately, it seems like we as humans have a way of taking in facts and then either burying our heads in the sand, or running away, or pretending like things don't exist, or just keep going. But that's where I think, something that I highly recommend for most anybody, especially if you have any form of bills, and if you have bills, hopefully you have a consistent income, or consistent enough that you can manage that fairly reliably. I think it is very helpful to get to sketch out exactly how much money is coming in each month, thereabouts, and how much money is going out. And actually, I've recently been kind of tweaking it a bit, because, if you're anything like me, how much you are paid fluctuates each month. Some months I make quite a bit of money. Other months I make basically all the money that I make that month is money spent or used in some way during that month. And so it fluctuates. So, but I think it is a helpful practice to kind of keep track of that. And, maybe that's a stressful thing for some people. So, that might not work for everybody. But I think for me, it's definitely a helpful thing, because basically the way I see it is like, okay, I can take an honest look at things. Like, for example, which kind of makes sense because the internet's sensationalized and commercialized. And it's all very interesting. But yeah, basically, finances can be a bit of a messy business. One thing that I've found though is, once you know roughly what your expenses are going to be, for say like a 3-month period, if you have, got enough money and saved enough that you have, like, currently, if you didn't make any more money, you could pay all your bills for the next 3 months. I think that's a really nice place to be, because then, if you really think about it, then, like, for example, so like, it's February. Now, I have enough money in my bank account. I'm very blessed in that I've been working full-time almost 2 years, and I, again, have different side hustle stuff, and so I have been able to save enough of an emergency fund where, like, if I didn't make any money over the next 3 months, if I didn't receive any more money, then I would still be able to pay the bills for the next 3 months. Or, like, the way I think about it, because my brain likes symmetry and things to be really clear, like, at the beginning of this year, I had enough money saved to cover bills, like an emergency fund type thing, for January, February, and March. And so the way I like to think about it is like, okay, January, February, March, I've got all that covered. And now during January, February, and March, my goal is to make enough money to cover April, May, and June. And then, when April hits, then I begin making money to cover July, August, September. And so kind of something like that. And really, I don't think this is going to work for everybody. Maybe it's inspiring to you, maybe it just sounds like a really crazy, stressful headache. But for me, it's fun. And so, yeah, really, it would be awesome to get to a point where I've got a whole year's salary saved. And so basically, I'm making next year's money this year. Like, that would be really cool. And provide a lot of peace of mind there. Because then you have an off week, you have a bad week, you have a whole month where, something happens or you have a crazy different expense. It's like having a longer time period really kind of helps things even out. But then you can also, kind of take an honest look at things and be like, okay, what's working, what's not. Like for example, if I have this service that I'm a part of, I'm involved in this service in some way, and for some reason price just keeps changing, or the price exceeds my budget, it's like, well, okay, like either something's got to change. Well, something does have to change because now my budget has to catch up. But if it's not sustainable and I can't catch up, then I'm just gonna have to stop the service. And that can be, depending on what service that is, may need to be something that's recalibrated, or if it's a necessary service, need to figure that out. But anyway, the point is, I think there's a lot of options. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff with finances that I'm still learning and been learning. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Definitely comment down below, what's your favorite finance thing? What do you like being able to pay bills? Do you like having money? What are your thoughts? Yeah, be nice for that to not be an issue, and to not have to think about that. That's also what a kind of a good budget does. You don't really have to think about where the money goes, because it's a system that you've engineered and put in place, hopefully prayerfully and carefully crafted. So anyway, those are some thoughts. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're watching this, and it kind of blows me away that you're watching this. So thank you all so much for watching. It really does mean the most. As one of my favorite Tennesseans says. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. See you all later.